Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
There we go, and we're back. So, the non-traditional relationship thing is going to be weird for me. I'm going to have to do some prep and see what's up. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Good to see you, man. It's been a minute. I saw you the other night on the show, but hadn't seen you in a few. I need to call you, man, but I just haven't really had time when, not really had a time. At any rate, yeah, so the debate tonight, non-traditional relationships, we're going to get into that. We'll get into that more as the show goes on. Kind of what it looks like we're going to be really talking about today. We've got a few things. First, I want to kind of, now that I've had time to simmer on it, hey, the Briar Wolf comes in. DTS.
The Briar Wolf donated $19.99. Super chat. Just showing some support. Haven't caught a live in a while. Saluting face emoji.
Well, I'm glad. Thanks for the $20. Glad you can catch it live. As I'm saying, I will be doing debate prep. I don't know if I'm going to just finish this stream out and then go take a break, get some food, and then come back and do the debate prep before we go live to do the debate. We'll figure it out, I promise. In the meantime, guys, here's the deal. So I want to talk, we're going to talk about the, now that I've had a few days of marinade on it, we're going to talk about the Trump, Epstein, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi. We're going to talk about that mess because there's a lot here beyond just being pissed off at any one individual for or a group of individuals for what was or was not released, right? There's a whole lot going on here. And I really actually want to kind of dive into some of that I may actually bring somebody up for kind of an esoteric argument on this because I have some opinions and I don't know that they're worth really arguing about, but we'll see. And then let's see. So, and then the next thing, we got to talk about the floods. And really what we need to talk about with the floods is, where are these body count numbers coming from? What's going on? What are they really trying to distract us from? Because it feels to me like the entire news cycle right now is a giant distraction. That's what it feels like to me. We're going to talk about that, right? We're going to talk about that. And one thing I really want to talk about, because a lot of shows have been done lately on public education, the state of the public education system, so on and so forth. I kind of want to talk to you guys a little bit about, especially since our tax dollars are used for this stuff. I really want to kind of talk a little bit about where I'm at on the Department of Education, what they're spending, why they're spending it, and what the real problems are, right? Like they kind of distill it down to a couple of things. And I don't agree with those things that we're distilling it down to. So I want to talk about that. We're going to talk about that a little bit. I've sent the link out to a couple of people. Maybe they'll pop on, maybe they won't. Hell, I don't even know if they're awake right now, but we'll find out. Lily last night was excellent on the show. Hopefully, she'll be back at some point. She's planning on doing the debate show on Friday. That's going to be great. That's going to be a lot of fun. I do need to get some stuff done with regards to the debate show. Just some detail work that needs to get done there before, other things. And yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good show today, guys. We'll see if we actually get anybody to come up. But we'll see. The news is a distraction, absolutely. Chambers of Logic, Mr. The Steel Man that doesn't steal man. Are we not minions, like Trump himself said? Why are we still talking about this Epstein stuff years later? Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in that boat. Yeah. Well, so we're gonna dive into a lot of that stuff. I know other people are live. I understand it, but that's okay. We're just gonna do what we're gonna do over here, and this is just the way it's gonna go. So, I guess we might as well talk right out of the gate about what's going on with the Epstein deal. Like, what's really going on there? Why is this a big deal? Why is it a big deal now? The only reason to me that this is a big deal at all, even a little bit, is that that Trump made it and something during the election. Now, in my opinion, my estimation, what I think, how I think it, the promises made during the campaign. Hey, what's up, EB3? Good to see you. Do you have Discord, EB3? If you have Discord, we'll get you a link and you can come up and we can chat in person, and that way I don't have to rage at you from in chat. So let me grab that Discord link. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm out of. A little out of pocket. There we go. There is the Discord link. So there's that. And yeah, just join. Go to the waiting room and say I want a link, and probably me. I don't know how many mods are paying attention, but it'll probably be me that throws you that cool link. And anyway, all right. So back to the subject, guys. So this it's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy with the what's going on with the Epstein files and why we're putting so much into it. And really, I don't think anyone cared until Elon said, well, Trump's name's in the Epstein files, which we know is not true. It can't be true. And I think that Elon did that, to just as kind of a twist the knife sort of thing, which is fine. That's, it is what it is. So let's talk about the facts. Let's talk about the facts that we know. So in January 2024, there was a limited release that named 177 individuals connected to the Epstein-related litigation. Now, this doesn't mean that they went to the island. It doesn't mean anything beyond they were connected to the litigation, and there were no criminal charges, and those people were not necessarily related to any criminal charges. What's up, Hawaiian CC? Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. So we know that, right? So we understand, or most of us should understand that, and it's a pretty easy thing to the EB3 Grillipus is trying to send you the link. Steelman, you are literally high. I don't know which version of drugs you're abusing, but you are definitely high right now. So please, before you OD, please get some help. We know that Trump was never part of Epstein because the Dems tried to prove it for 4 years, 2 years full time during the run up to the election. For 2 years during the run up to the election and during the nomination and the actual election cycle, they literally tried everything they could to prove that Donald J. Trump was at any given time was on Epstein's island. Every flight was checked. Literally, like nobody. Cool, man. Thank you, Agrippas. Literally nobody has tried to do that better than the entire Democrat Party machine. They came up with nothing, zero, buckus. They got nothing on it. It never happened because, obviously most of Trump's activities are tracked. He's just not on that list. So you're the one that's in denial because you need it to be true to reinforce your personal beliefs. I don't need anything to be true. If Trump went to Epstein Island, that'd be cool. With me, I don't give a shit. Who cares? Now, anyway, so what we know, verified facts, not bullshit, not people talking out of their assholes. We're talking about verified facts. We know that 177 individuals were named. None of them were charged. None of them there was no direct relation, as near as we can tell.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I got you. I can hear you. You're coming through very well, actually. You could turn your mic down just a hair if you wanted to. Most names were connected through flight log.
Testing 1 2.
Yeah, man, you sound good. Can you hear me?
I can't hear anything.
I can hear you. I can hear you fine. So
I could hear you on YouTube, but I've obviously just shut that down. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. So just check your audio settings, and it's probably just it probably put your mic in as a speaker or some shit.
Do I have to keep YouTube open?
No, you shouldn't have to. No, you should be able to go down where it says mute at the bottom of your screen. There's a little tab there. You click that and go up and make sure that your audio out.
Then give me a test. No, I'm going to refresh. Try and come back.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so the reason I would say it would be cool is because I don't know. We don't know what happened there beyond what they're trying to shovel us.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now? Okay, great. All right, so this is what we know. Like, I'm only interested in what we know right now. Most of the names were connected through flight logs, associations, or deposition references, which means that somebody else said they were there, right? That's all we know is there's 177 names. There's no charges. Nobody's ever been associated with any wrongdoing. All of that, right? Like, and most of it is the most tenuous of associations.
Well, I kind of agree that there might not have been any like direct Epstein,
Sure,
little black book, blackmail list.
Yeah,
but that was never really. That's digressed into that.
Yeah, it kind of has, right?
If you remember from the beginning, it was always about the flight logs because Epstein was a convicted pedophile.
Right.
Right. So anyone who did business with him after he was a convicted pedophile that flew to his island was suspect.
Right. You have to wonder about it, right? Like there's that
was the list. The flight logs.
Yeah. The flight logs were the list, but there's never been any video come, which is weird to me, right? Like, look, there's not one of all those people that went. There's not one cell phone video. One cell phone video that's been leaked. There were cameras everywhere on this island, apparently. Terabytes of video.
Well,
it doesn't exist.
Or
at least it's not being released, right? Like, we don't know where it is. I don't know that the feds have it either, right? Like there's been a lot of people opining that what's happening is this is a CIA cover-up, that Epstein was somehow CIA, and this was a method that they used to entrap people The CIA has done it before. I mean, it's not like it would be unusual. But
what
if that
there
were
is,
true,
but what there is, there are like I think there's like an Eminem video or something like that that was made on the island featuring a few other rappers and through Bad Boy Beats as well with Diddy's crew.
yeah.
They've been to the island and made rap videos, and so there's proof out there that people have been to the island.
Yeah. There's proof that they've been there.
Yeah.
But there's not proof of the things that people say, or you leap to the conclusion you leap to is right. Pedophile has private island.
Yes,
he's taking really well-known people there.
Do you really think you can become a multimillionaire rap star or a celebrity and not have a legal team around you to make you aware of this before you go to such an island?
Yeah, right.
Do you think that's possible?
Is that even? Yeah. Is it? How does that make sense?
It's not possible. Like they've all got like handlers or like a public relations team or an agent. They've got an agent that's meant to be legally proficient who knows everything about Epstein before they go there, so their client isn't put in any jeopardy. Sure. So like they must have known. Oh, he's a convicted pedophile. So what? We're going anyway. Who cares?
Right. So so for someone whose entire career hangs in the balance on something like that, wouldn't it? So I don't know about you, but I would have to have major assurances that nothing is going to go on while I'm there. Like 100%. Like there'd have to be like some ironclad fucking contracts because this always comes back. Look at what's happening with Diddy, right? This always comes back. If you don't do it, it always comes back on you.
You're right with the Trump. Trump has had known relations with Epstein. However, since Epstein was a convicted pedophile, there's no proof of Trump visiting the island or having any business deals with him, right? Yeah. However, I've lost track. Go on.
It's okay. Yeah. So you're right. Trump has documented business dealings at some point with Epstein. I thought it was Epstein's father, but I'm okay. Whatever. It's Epstein. But
prior to his conviction, I mean, like,
but he kicked him out of his club prior to his conviction too. He kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago for harassing women. He was like, no, you don't do that here, Epstein. Jeff, you got to go, right? And that actually speaks volumes more than any other single incident to me. Now, maybe not to you, maybe not to anyone else, but to me, that's something. We also know that there are major redactions that remain sealed under federal court jurisdiction, which even Trump can't break. Right? So this is people being mad at Trump for something he cannot do. Right? He might want to, but he can't do it because it's sealed under court order. Right? Now there's a path there. You take it to the Supreme Court, it could happen, but the reality is that it's unlikely.
And then you've got Biden, who's pardoned over 2,000 people.
I'm going to get to Biden. Yeah. I'm going to get to Biden in a second. Yeah. So there was no EO, DOJ, or that's executive order or executive office. No DOJ investigation, no congressional action from Biden during his 4 years at all. He completely avoided the Epstein issue. And there was a lot of media pressure to do that. And he had full executive authority. He probably could have broken the Supreme Court's or the DOJ's court order. He probably could have because he had enough juice at that point. However, they barely even said a word about it the entire 4 years. Now, this is a more troubling thing to me than what Trump did. To me, at this point, this is just my viewpoint on it. Trump made a campaign promise thinking it would be easy. He's gotten in there and he's figured out, well, fuck, it's not that easy. There's been 4 years of time to destroy evidence, to manipulate evidence.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, we always accuse people of doing it, but then when someone says, well, wait a minute, what if during Biden's 4 years, all of this stuff that's missing or should exist, like the video. Where are the terabytes of video? Where is that? Does the CIA have it? Does the DOJ have it? Does the Thai government have it? Who the fuck has it?
And like it's fair enough them saying they can't release it to the public because it depicts abuse of children, but like there are criminals abusing those children. Like Elaine Maxwell is in prison for trafficking children to absolutely
I
nobody.
forgot about this.
It has to make sense to somebody, doesn't it?
Right.
Like, how can Elaine Maxwell be incarcerated for trafficking children to nobody? Who are the people she trafficked them to, and why are they not in prison?
So this is actually correct too. Biden CIA director Bill Burns did meet with Epstein multiple times before he, whatever happened to him. So that's absolutely true.
The judicial system is not stupid. Like you said, the Department of Justice and all that are not stupid. They know Elaine Maxwell has been prosecuted for trafficking children.
Sure.
But to whom? Like, the people who she trafficked them to, there's been no prosecutions. And they know that even at the most basic level American on the street, they know that doesn't make sense.
No, you're right. You're right. And this is what gives rise to all of these conspiracy theories is, Biden's DOJ, at any time, Biden's DOJ could have declassified everything. They could have put parental guidance, this is bad stuff, and all of that, or hey, we can't release this because we can't blur out the underage individuals enough, right? And so we can't do that. But they could have done it, and they didn't lift a pinky to do it, and he had complete control. So that's bad. But Dana Remus reportedly, and this is just reportedly now. I couldn't find. The only thing I could find on it was a 2022 leak from the Politico. But Dana Remus advised non-intervention for political stability during the Biden administration, which means that she basically told Biden, don't touch this. Don't touch it.
Have you seen?
Because it's nuclear.
What's Bill Gates' missus called, or ex-wife called, whatever? What's her name called?
Can't remember. Melinda.
Do you remember the interview with her about Epstein?
No, I don't remember. No.
Well, it's very fascinating because she's like, I met him on a couple of occasions, and on the second time, I was like, I couldn't be in the same room with the man and stuff like that. He absolutely disgusted me. But what the reporter didn't ask was, what did Epstein do that disgusted you? What was it about this man that horrified you and disgusted you, that repulsed you? What is it you know about him that makes you think this? Because that wasn't stated. What is it she knew about Epstein that made her feel that way? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like,
absolutely.
Watch the interview. It's very, very telling because of what's not said. She makes a claim, but there's no substance to like. But what did Epstein do? What does she know about him, and what did he do to make her think that?
Well, I mean, she obviously has some loyalty to her own foundation and her own reputation. She's not going to want to dive down that ditch, if you understand my meaning.
Sure, but if you're going to say I couldn't be in the same room as the man because he absolutely repulsed me and disgusted me.
She would just say, "Well, he gave me the ick," and women do. But she would have. I mean, and I'm assuming that's kind of how she played it off. I haven't seen that. I'll go look for it.
Yeah. Watch it because what's not said is very, very. It's like what's not being said is
the unsaid is very loud, right?
Yeah.
What's unsaid is shouts, right? Yes. Yeah, I know. I get it. So let's talk about. Our first. I would say that the swamp it isn't partisan, right? And these. These swamp creatures, these politicians, these politicos, they're there administration after administration after administration, and they manipulate these things regardless of what their superiors may tell them to do. It's very hard to fire someone or to remove somebody from office in the DOJ. But especially for incompetence, right? Like they just didn't follow your order the way you wanted it followed.
Insubordination.
Yeah. Insubordination's one thing, right? Like they can get rid of you because you did something because you said, "Well, I'm just not going to do that." But if they say, "Oh yeah, I'll do that," and then it never gets done.
Incompetence is something different.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I meant to do it. I was trying to do it. It just took me longer than I thought it would. That's why it's 6 months late. Yeah.
But
so
like,
that
it is a swamp. Carlin's right. It's one big club, and you're not in it. And Trump and Hillary Clinton are cousins. It's a family. It's a family unit.
And I mean, it's this. So the Epstein thing to me is just like, I'm trying to wrap my head around the sheer lack of evidence, and that's where I get stuck.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so to me, that means either the government is involved on a level that they don't want it to be known, and so they'll stop anybody, even the president. Right. Even if Trump said, "I want this released now," the swamp creatures will do stuff like release a heavily redacted list or release a list with missing pages, because what are you going to do about it?
But there's also another angle, right? During an active investigation, there's no obligation on the investigators, the criminal investigators, to announce what they're doing investigatory-wise to the public. And sometimes
this has been
sometimes
9 years.
Sometimes false positives are needed in the public domain. Like, oh, there is no list, but that was never claimed that Epstein had some little black book blackmail list in the first place. It was always about who about the
flight logs,
who flew to his island after he was a convicted paedophile. Because they must have known that. They must have known he was a convicted paedophile ex post facto, after the fact.
Right.
That's all it's been about. And I don't care if they're rap stars, celebrities, or politicians. There are flight logs. And those flight logs are the lists. And for someone to say that those flight logs do not exist.
Yeah, it was weird. I was on a panel show the other night, and they were trying to get me to like throw Trump under the bus. I'm like, well, I don't really know what Trump's position or strategy is on this, and I don't care. What I'm really concerned about is why you guys think that there's this magic list, like this is some magic bullet that's going to solve the whole Epstein thing, because that's really not. It's not something that exists, right? Like and when they kept saying, "Well, you're a businessman, you have a client list, right?" And I'm like, not really. You could go through my invoices and compile one, but I don't have a list of clients.
You can't fly anywhere without it being documented.
Sure. Well, I mean, you can, but it's hard for something like that to happen, right? Like they're international.
Even with a private plane, it's like there's still
it's pretty hard with a plane that size.
There's still some sort of documentation, even if it's like a fuel purchase or something. But one way or another, American citizens with passports flew out to Epstein Island, and those flight logs exist, and those are the lists that MAGA supporters really want. That's what they're really on about. Obviously, because of how long you says it took months and months and months for it to even get to this point, because of the longevity of it being dragged out this long, it's devolved into where's the Epstein blackmail list? Like that was never a thing in the first place. It was always about who flew out there, knowing that all this shit was going on out there.
And those 177 names have been released.
They have. Yeah, but not by officially. Not officially. I've seen the flight logs, but there's loads of celebrities on there, but it's not been officially declared by the DOJ or anything like that.
I mean, I don't know. I think that Trump kind of shot himself in the foot here, and I think that he's going to have to I don't know. This one's hard to come back from. Just because and. His only and he is right. So a couple of days ago, I said on Monday that the only way I could see Trump getting out of this, and it was echoed by multiple people, is he has to pretty much immediately order the investigation of the FBI, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, all of these people who have claimed to have had this evidence that now they're saying doesn't exist, right? Like they're and you have to investigate those people. That's really and at some point there needs to be some answers for the public public. However, the thing is that I believe that at this point, I don't care about that list. I don't care about Epstein. I don't care about the people who went to his island. We all know politicians are janky. You know, they're swamp creatures. Who cares? I don't care. You know, that's all irrelevant to me. What I care about now is what they're trying to hide. What they're keep putting this Epstein list up in front of my face so I don't look over here and see whatever it is that they're trying to hide from me. And that's what I'm really concerned about right now. And I think what they're really trying to hide from the American people is how much involvement we end up creeping into the Iran and the Ukrainian conflicts. This is what I think that there's the real meat, the real thing is Epstein is irrelevant. I don't care. He's a dirty pedophile that whether he hung himself or whether he was killed, I don't care. He's ended. He's gone. I just.
Have you seen that interview or that piece by Megan Kelly, or her name is that journalist? She said, and you might even hear from Epstein himself. He could even still be alive. It could still be a deep police operation. That's
deep fake is a real thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So he might not even be dead, right, in the first place. That's a possibility, right? So, but like, I think the inescapable aspect of this that the system can't get away from is Elaine Maxwell's prosecution. You can't traffic children to nobody. That you can't get away. They can't.
Well, the way that went down,
they can't get away from this.
I mean, the way that went down, it almost. You know what it seems to me? The Ghislaine Maxwell thing seems to me is that she went into witness protection. She went through a court that was like the weirdest trial I've ever seen, ever heard of, ever thought about, and then she just fucking disappeared. Like, I'm telling you that I think she knows stuff that nobody wants anyone else to know, and they're, they had a choice: disappear her or privately, or disappear her publicly. And they've disappeared her publicly so that nobody. You don't even try to get a hold of her. You don't even try to get an interview with her. Why? Because you don't know where she is. Right.
True. But again, legally, it not only legally, logically, and otherwise, it forms a contradiction. If she trafficked children to clients, those clients are criminals. Why are they not behind bars? Who were they? Where's the updates on these criminals she did business with?
Yeah.
The system's not going to. Trump can say, "Oh, I ran this. Why are you still on about Epstein?" Well, it's never going to be resolved until Elaine Maxwell's clients are put behind bars, or at least apprehended and put on trial and whatnot.
Yeah. I don't think any of that's ever going to happen, but they're going to trot it out every time they need a distraction. Every single time that we're about to bomb somebody, every time we're about to do something really insane.
They'll hang a few pedophiles out to dry for the public.
They'll be like, "Oh, look, we've got these other 5 names on the list."
Yes. Yeah. And didn't they even release preliminary Epstein files? Phil Collins' name was on there and stuff. There was a few other celebrities. They've already released a preliminary folder, haven't they?
And the Abe Dinkus, that is why you feel squeezed and pressed down right there. And the only reason, so the thing is this is how all governments operate. That's how they've always operated. The difference is now you can see it happening in real time, 24/7 on CNN or MSNBC or any other media outlet of your choosing, and you can just watch it happen. So I want to talk about the next distraction that's happening in this country, which is a tragedy. It's an active tragedy, and that is the floods. We have Texas, and now we have North Carolina. We have massive flooding. We just had flooding in North Carolina last year. It took out an entire section of interstate. It's a big mess over there. I think they mostly got it repaired now, but it was a huge deal. And now look, we got more flooding. The interesting thing is this CNN and MSNBC cite over 200 flood-related fatalities, but they include indirect deaths like heart attacks, delayed EMS response, post-storm vehicle crashes. It's the same thing we saw with C-19, guys. It's the exact same thing. Is that anything that happens during this time is going to be called a flood death, but it has nothing to do with the flood. It just doesn't.
I haven't really got an opinion, but I have seen some people claiming that there's like weather weapons that are doing this on purpose.
I've seen the conspiracy theorists with that as well, and we did try that back in the day. They're also counting unverified missing or unreachable people in rural zones. We don't, and they'll come out every now and again. They'll say, "Oh, well, you know, so and so that what they thought was dead is now alive." So that's and then obviously, unfortunately, the elderly and infirm that are in hospitals that pass when the hospitals lose power. And so the actual flood has claimed 22 lives. 22.
All right, I thought I read about 80.
Well, there's so CNN and MSNBC cite over 200 flood deaths, flood-related fatalities, right? But the death but they don't actually say that. They say death toll reaches 200. Or passes 200, and the reality is that it's 22.
Wow.
Yeah. Actually, in Texas, it's 27 now. I'm sorry, I missed that. Confirmed that are in the affected Central and East Texas areas. In North Carolina, there are 14 confirmed. But the impressive thing in North Carolina is they're already saying there's $2 billion in damages in North Carolina.
That's some serious propaganda, isn't it?
It is pretty good, right? Yeah.
Timesing it by 10 of magnitude.
Yeah.
We can't say 20. Let's say 200.
Right. Yeah, right. Because if they say, you know, they've already said it was 18 2 days ago. Obviously, there's got to be more than that, right? So, there, if I were to critically analyze this stuff, just from my perspective, my worldview, I would say that the reason that this is inflated is to justify climate legislation, which is, you know, more Green New Deal stuff, more electric cars, all of that kind of thing. FEMA expansion. Now, remember, FEMA is such a horrible organization, but for some reason, it's become the government's favorite place to park money. And so they're going to try and expand FEMA again, and they're just going to, and they'll just have the random budget increases across the board for whatever that they feel like it. Raging Patriot, right? It's now it's a body recovery mission. That's true. I've been in on that before. Clover Tack is right. It's called fleecing the system. If they claim 200 instead of 20, they can get a slush fund going, give brother-in-law a handout, buy that fourth home, etc. with all the extra assistance they get. Absolutely. And this is and you know what, Briar Wolf, you're right. This is one of the things. So where I live in Tennessee, we no longer have much of a flooding issue. We have dams, we have rivers. If a big storm's coming through, they drop the water level in the lower lakes days beforehand, and then when we get all the water, it just runs down into the lakes through our dams, and we control it. Right now, does things happen? Sure. A couple of years ago, we had a dam give out on the Tennessee River, and that caused some minor, more major than normal damage, and I think it may have cost a little bit of loss of life. But we also have signs that say, big yellow signs that read, if water is flowing over this point, go no further, you will die. Right? Like, because it's serious, because if you drive down in this area, it's known to flood. It's a known place where water pools and have strong current, and it'll sweep a car right off the road. So don't go there. And Briar Wolf, I think you're right that you hate to say it, but you'd have to guess a lot of folks didn't take the flash flood warning seriously. You'd think in that part of Texas they would know better, though. You agree something not adding up. It's not that it doesn't add up. It perfectly adds up. It perfectly adds up. And what's worse, and I don't know, EB3, if you can, I mean, I'm sure you can mentally understand this, but until you see it, it's hard to really explain. People have been buying up riverfront, waterfront property over the last couple of decades and building massive homes on it with no real concern about flooding. And so when you get that one big flood, these people, their homes get destroyed. That's why you see billions of dollars, because, well, 10 homes, each one of them worth $8 million each, just got wiped out. Right. And that's just in one little section. And so, I mean, I see it on the, again, I see this a lot. I'm really, I feel for the state of Texas. Again, I'm always wondering what am I not being told, and why am I, why do I need to look at this right now? Like, why is this? I mean, certainly it's a tragedy, but literally they just dropped massive amounts of ordnance in Ukraine. That seems important. We're doing a lot of, there's a lot of bombing going on in Iran. That seems important. It seems a little bit more important. I don't know, maybe not. Raging Patriot, Trump said he wants to let the states handle the catastrophic natural disasters and have federal funding reserved for in case states need more money to clean. I agree with that. That's exactly the right way to do it. And we should be doing it that way. We ought to be doing that way. So certainly if the states, have, need money, they should get it. But in the beginning, it should be on the states. And look, guys, and I'm just going to kind of close out this, unless EB3, which he doesn't seem like he has a lot to say on this. I'm just going to close this subject out with, look, guys, when somebody dies of a heart attack in a hospital 3 counties away and it becomes a climate death, a flood-related death, we need to look no further than what happened in this country during C-19 and all of the garbage that we were fed, how people were dying in car crashes, and it was termed a C-19 death.
A motorbiker in the UK went straight through a hedge, smashed into a tree, broke his neck on impact. Yeah, but his cause of death was C-19.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so, guys, these are tragedies. They deserve a moment of silence in your day. But look beyond that headline. Look at what's actually going on, and look at what is happening in your communities, because they're screwing all of us.
There was a financial incentive behind that, though. I know why the medical industry did that.
Absolutely, we all do now.
But what's the financial incentive for, other than flamboyant news propaganda? Like, look at these big headlines. Look at all these people dying. Other than that, what's the financial incentive of making up people that are dying in floods that are not really dying?
Yeah,
that's strange, isn't it?
It's fund allocation. It's fund allocation. Yeah, the government, so if FEMA gets $2 billion this year in funding, if they can justify it and make a good case, maybe they get $4.5 billion next year. So it's all in the funding, man. It's all in the never let a tragedy go to waste. So, so now we got to talk about education spending in this country. I don't know about England. You're in the UK, right?
Yeah, I'm an Englishman in England, but my pizza's just turned up, so I'm gonna dip for half hour. I'll probably come back on if you're.
Man. Eat your food, man. It's lunchtime.
All right, be back soon, man.
Yeah.
I'll still be listening though. So.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks, man. Really appreciate you coming up.
Nice to meet you, anyway.
Yeah, good. Cheers. All right. The education spending is nuts. I don't think you guys realize this. Maybe you do. I don't think you do. And this came up this came up a couple of days ago, and I started poking around at it again because I have a real problem with the Department of Ed. So here's some just quick facts, right? For kindergarten through 12th grade, high school, the current Department of Education spend is, are you ready? $834.6 billion. $834.6 billion with a B dollars in education spending. The GAO, okay, that's the Government Accounting Office, General Accounting Office, depending on how you want to define it, has had a problem with accounting for some of this money. Now, since 2018, the Department of Education has failed to account for nearly $22 billion in expenditures. $22 billion in expenditures. That's a lot. And that was in the last report in 2023. Every year they announce it's about $8 to $10 billion of unaccounted for expenditures. So the GAO has looked into this, and by the way, the $22 billion from 2018 to I think it was 2018 to 2020, I think, or 21. That was done in the GAO. It was published in the GAO 2023 DOE audit, right? So they get audited. Yeah, okay. So the evidence of mismanagement is pretty easy. There was $6.8 billion unaccounted for in 2023 alone. 1 year, $6.8 billion. The GAO found systemic weaknesses, fraud. They found a lack of regularity in vendor tracking, like what they're paying out. Grant follow-up. So if CloverTech applies for a grant to teach kids, pink platypus shooting or something, and they give them $100 million to do that, they never actually follow up to see if he ever does it. All right. And then, of course, budget reconciliation. So they write the checks, but they never actually see where the money went, why it went there, or anything else. They don't reconcile basically anything, as near as I can tell. Now, so that leads us with this overlying question, right? Of what the fuck? Yeah, general certificate to teach anything is dumb. Yeah, it's true. I like CloverTech's on the money here. CloverTech is on the money. The GAO has published letter after letter on how there are repeated failures to audit or verify billions in C-19 era relief spending meant for digital learning infrastructure. By the way, the reason that we invested in that digital learning infrastructure so that even after C-19 was no longer an issue, that it could cut the budget for the education system by allowing people who live in rural areas and more remote areas to be able to study from home using these digital infrastructure, and that would allow the amount of funding for buses and bus drivers and other transportation costs and all of these things, all of that would kind of drop down, right? But none of that's happened, by the way. None of it. Not one. I mean, it exists, but it's not being used in any meaningful way. And now we have to ask, what are we getting for our money? Where's the performance for the price that we've paid? Well, let's get into that. 8th grade math proficiency, according to the national I can't pronounce it. The NAEP, right? 26%. 26% of students are able to do math at an 8th grade level, at a proficient level. The high school dropout rate has reached 6.4% nationally, with 12% in major cities. Why? We're spending all of this money. What's going on? So if the DOE was a private business, if I ran it and I ran my business this way, I would be sued. The state government would have a lot, or the federal government would have a lot of problem with my accounting processes, and I would be audited and likely fined and put out of business. Even if that didn't happen, even if I didn't put me out of business, I'd probably go to jail for fraud. No, the DOE, it's, that's fine. Because it's government run, it's just called, we just say it's under review. I don't know who's talking to me. Sorry. Apologize. It doesn't matter. So, if this were my business, I'd be out of business. If I wasn't, I'd be probably in jail. But because the government can say that it's under review, or we're investigating this, and never actually generate any answers, but the public is okay with it. Why is the dropout rate so high when you're pumping all of this money into the system? When you have woke classrooms where you have all of the things that are supposed to make kids more efficient at learning. I can't really shake this wrist. So this one works. This one not as much. So at any rate, but yeah, if it was a private business, if this was a corporation, if I own this place and I did this, I'd be in jail, 100%. Now we do have to talk about a couple of programs that do work in the DOE. But they're basically imitating private schools. When the DOE imitates private schooling, they succeed. Charter schools, you have to test to even get in there. If you fail, you're out. You go back to a normal school. So there's a low percentage of people who fail, and there's a high percentage of people who want to get it right, who absolutely care about being there. So when it's run like a private school, the Department of Education works. Florida, Arizona, Tennessee, I think Texas may have a charter school program now. They all work. And they've seen a gain in proficiency as well. I think it's don't quote me on this. I think it's 12%, 10, 12, 14%, something like that. It's in that range. But we'll just go 12%. 12% gain in proficiency year over year, and across the board. Math, English, science, all of it. Massachusetts has them too. I didn't know that, Wally. Cool. Hey, good to see you, Wicked Wally. Good to see you. so it's a very, so when the Department of Education acts like a private business, it succeeds. When it acts like the Department of Education, it fails. So I just want to leave you before I move on to yet another segment, another question. Should public education be restructured, or should we defund it entirely until it proves its worth, until it proves that it can hold up under its own weight? And also, should the entire leadership of the DOE be sacked and a management team put in to hire new people to run the DOE? Just something to think about. Just something to think about. Not saying that, not saying we shouldn't. Not saying we should. Just kind of. I just really want you guys' opinions. But yeah, it's good stuff. I didn't know Massachusetts had them, Wally. What a great show with Tim last night. I was really happy with that. Clovertax says the DOE needs to go completely and period. Completely and period. That's right. I agree. See, I agree. I 100%. I mean, that's my stance. I don't see any legitimate reason to have the DOE at all. It doesn't do anything it's supposed to do. It spends a bunch of money it shouldn't be spending. That's taxpayer money. And like any other government program, they feel no obligation to their customer, which is every single taxpayer. Every single taxpayer is a customer of the DOE. They feel no obligation to the customer to actually perform, excel, and provide a good good platform. So that's where I'm at. I don't know what. I sent a couple of links out if you guys want to come up and jabber for a little while before I get into the next hour, or as we get into the next hour, we can have some fun. So yeah, never taught one kid to read because the DOE exists. That's right. This is that's true too, Clover. 100%. The DOE does in fact enable states to just not care about education or not put a lot of money towards it, and instead they can put it to pet programs and all kinds of other things that they probably shouldn't be doing. So the debate tonight's over non-traditional relationships. I want to give you guys time to get up here. I know it takes a minute before I launch into anything else. I kind of want to talk a little bit more about this DOE thing and the Epstein thing and basically the other stuff I've talked about. EB3 is great as a guest. Bro, right as I bring you up, we get the sneeze attack.
Was that? Do you hear that?
Oh yeah.
I thought I freaking muted. I hit the mute button.
Yeah, you must add tears in your eyes when you muted it.
It must have. That was weird. Okay, sorry.
That's all right. It's funny though.
I was burning some stuff earlier, so I've got
smoke in the eyes.
Probably got some stuff in my breathed in some stuff I wasn't supposed to. I'm sure.
How close are you to the floods, Clover?
I'm not. That's down in hill country. That's 8 hours away. I don't even know. It's a long way.
I think it's really interesting that people to this day, even though we make fun of it all the time and we talk about it all the time, it ceased to amaze me that how people really don't understand how big this country is and how big Texas in and of itself is. I have literally driven across Texas, and it took a day and a half to do it.
It's closer from It's closer from El Paso to San Diego than it is El Paso to Houston. Think about that.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's I drove from down near College Station. Thank you. I drove from there up and over into it's right next to Oklahoma, not Amarillo. Is it Amarillo that's right next to Oklahoma? I think it's Amarillo.
Yeah, Amarillo's up. Yeah.
And it was 8 hours to get there and another 4 hours. So I was like, why is this taking so long? I'm still in Texas.
when we go to Vegas, and we're right on the eastern edge, right? We're, I could go some back roads and stuff and be in Louisiana probably in less than an hour, if I really push it. But so when we go to Vegas every year for SHOT, the Texas border, when we hit the Texas border in New Mexico, it is like 30 miles from being halfway to Vegas.
Right.
So all but 30 miles is, you know what I mean? It's nearly half of that entire trip is Texas. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And 30 minutes on the interstate is not that long, right? So
right.
Or 30 miles on the interstate is not that long.
Yeah, Texas. I mean, I just think people don't really understand how big this country is. I drove across. I drove across the country in 1998, and drove from Tennessee to Lake Tahoe. And back then, there was a portion of Arizona and New Mexico where they would say there were portions of the two. First of all, you could get out of your vehicle, stand in the road, and take a picture, and no cars would. There's no problem. There's no cars coming whatsoever on the interstate. On the interstate.
Yeah. No. I get you.
Yeah. And on the interstate, you could do it. And there were signs that said no services for the next 50 or 100 miles. When they said that, they fucking meant it.
They were serious. Yeah.
Like you better get gas now, motherfucker.
So it's not that bad. As far as
not bad now. There seems
as far as the services, if you're on 40, is that 40 that cuts across? Yeah, I think it is. So if you're on 40, it's not that bad because we drive that every year to Vegas, and it's not that bad. Now we drive nonstop, like overnight going. And I'm going to tell you this, once about, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock hits at night, till probably 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Man, you can drive 100 as fast as your car will go because you're not going to see another vehicle.
No.
Like there's nothing there. Now to your point about the no services thing, I'll tell you the part that's bad is from like San Antonio to El Paso. That stretch, you better be mindful of your stops and not pass up a gas station when you see one, or a truck stop or whatever to get fuel, and literally stop every time and get fuel, because if anything happens, you have road blockage because of a wreck or something, and you're sitting in traffic for any length of time, it can get hairy. And we had that one time where we were actually going to Vegas, and I believe pretty sure it was New Mexico, and coming out of Albuquerque, and there was an 18-wheeler wreck with 3 or 4 vehicles involved, that sort of thing, and traffic was backed up for miles, and there's no side roads fucking out there in like the desert, and like
it's just desert.
Yeah, you can't hit a back road, like it don't work. You're sitting there, right? And it's a good thing I told my wife we didn't really have to have fuel. We could have made it to the next town, but we stopped, and we always stop in Albuquerque because at night, especially, Albuquerque is beautiful, and the truck stops up on the hill, so you can actually see out over all the lights and everything. And I'm like, it's a good thing we do stop there and get fuel, because like, how long are we going to sit here? And we ended up sitting there about an hour and a half.
I like Albuquerque too.
And we were talking about January, in the desert at night.
Yeah.
You have to run the vehicle. Like, it's
Yeah.
cold if you don't.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like Albuquerque. I've been I've made that trip many times. I like I mean, I've actually, one of the worst trips I had, I did 10. I went down the I was in Northern California. I had to go to Southern California for something before I headed over. And I went down and I took 10 across. And it's like a third world country.
What'd you get on? Did you get on 20 and then come back up to 40?
Yeah, we came up. Well, we went across through Arizona, New Mexico, and then somewhere in New Mexico, we angled up back to 40.
Okay, yeah, I got you. So you could probably come out around Santa Rosa or somewhere like that.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was. There were a lot of places where it was like really awesome, and there were other places where it's like I'm in a third world country right now.
Oh, like I said, 10 from San Antonio to El Paso is you might as well be on like Mars or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's desolate. Like, there's nothing. I had to, so made that trip one time, and that was a 38-hour straight trip by myself one time.
Yeah.
That I made going through that way. And dude, like, I had to like go to the bathroom like it was nobody's business, and I needed a snack, and I need, fuel wouldn't hurt. And there was literally like a portable building gas station. I was out there in the middle of nowhere, and it was a dude that literally had a portable building by his house, and he had literal refrigerators in his portable building with sodas and candy bars and stuff, and one gas pump outside.
Yeah,
that was fed from like a, what am I thinking? The fuel cells,
yeah, the overhead,
like for farms that are on the
the overhead
land, right?
overhead rig.
Yeah, he had. I'm guessing it was probably maybe a 200 or 300 gallon fuel tank, and the pump that's what ran the pump, or that's what fueled the pump. And I forgot what it cost, but it was high. The fuel was.
I've run into that before.
A dollar more than what the average through that area is going to be, at least. But
was it on the reservation?
What are you going to do? Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't remember exactly where it was at. It was early. The sun had just come up. I
made the mistake of getting gas on the reservation once. That was a mistake.
Yeah. No, you talk about the flooding. So it is just rain and rain and rain and rain and rain this year, like everywhere.
Oh yeah, everywhere.
Like we've
had it here.
And that's what I was talking. I live about a mile from a pretty major Texas river, and it 2 days ago, and it's rained since, but 2 days ago, you could literally pull over, stand on the bridge, reach over, and touch the river. Like it was literally, the river's literally touching the bridge. And normally I'm going to say probably 12, 15 foot at least from the bottom of the bridge. So it's pretty nuts. I mean, if it keeps raining and at an interval where things can't die down a little bit, that bridge is not going to be passable.
Yeah. Why do you think that people decide to drive on bridges when they're not passable instead of just turn around
or any type of water, man?
Yeah, like a ditch or a bridge or whatever.
So they're stupid. They don't realize it. A lot of them don't live in the country. They don't drive back roads and dirt roads and other things enough to realize. So my entire life we've off-roaded, four-wheeled, whatever. And I can remember, especially when the rivers get high on back dirt roads and stuff like that run adjacent and to the rivers and stuff like that, and creeks around here. Oh, it's hella fun, dude, because you can drive through 4 foot, 6 foot water, in your 4x4s. But I can remember there was 6 or 8 of us that was playing around. It had rained like balls for a couple of weeks, and we're like, man, let's go down to the river bottom, hit those back roads and like play around. And we all had jacked up 4-wheel drives, winches. We could pull each other out for the most part and whatever, right? And my buddy had a 72, I think, GMC 4x4, and he was leading, and the water was I'm gonna say the water was probably 4 foot deep, right? And all of a sudden he just fucking disappeared, dude. Like literally disappeared. And from from ground to top of cab, I don't even know. I mean, 9 foot. I don't know how
Yeah,
that's
probably.
jacked up, but it was jacked up, dude. And like he literally disappeared. And so we're freaking out. Everybody stops, right? Of course. And we're freaking out and like, what are we gonna do? And directly he pops up, thankfully. And so, you know, he's like holding on to his vehicle so he doesn't get swept away or nothing. And we throw him a line and pull him back. But we had to go back like it was like a week or two later and try to pull his truck out. And the hole that he fell into was fucking massive, dude. Like Grand Canyon almost. Like that hole was 15 foot, every bit of 15 foot deep. It was crazy. You know, and like people don't understand that. They're used to driving on solid pavement and they're used to being a little bit of rain, you know, maybe an inch, right? Maybe an inch of water over the road and that water's clear, you know, and whatever. And so when water's high, they just drive through it. They assume that there's a solid foundation under that shit. If they lived in the country, they probably wouldn't do that. Unless they had a 4-wheel drive and winches and
yeah, I mean, I've seen.
Then you may take a chance.
You boys do stupid shit, but you're right.
But then again, we were playing. That was playtime for us, so we had all the preparations that you would have if you were playing, right? We had tow straps, tow ropes, winches, you know, and everything else. And we had done it so much, we knew kind of what to look out for and other things. But even then, things will pop up and catch you sometimes. So
it's an interesting thing. When you talk about that, because I agree, and I've done the similar sort of thing. One night I was, and you know, I do a lot of the stupid things I did at night for some stupid. I don't know. I'm just weird.
Well, for us, that's when we had time. We got off.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's probably what it was. But I'm on a quad, and I'm riding down this creek, and it's a creek. Like its wide point is like 6 feet, right? Like, but mostly it's. You know, it's like, you know, 3.5, 4 feet wide, something like that. So I'm riding down this creek and I knew that it's mostly really shallow. It's this really shallow creek. It gets maybe a foot deep here and there. But then there's a pool where it drops off and all of a sudden it's like, it's deep. It's, you know, 3 or 4 feet deep.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm just riding along, and I thought that I was further upstream than I was. It was actually, like I was actually really like, I started out in the danger zone. I didn't realize I was in the danger zone. So,
well, especially if you got other people with you and you're having fun and you're talking, you know, sometimes that shit happens. Yeah.
And so I'm riding along, and I'm, you know, the water's just flying, and my feet are wet, my pants are wet. You know, it's just, you've been on a quad. And all of a sudden, whoop, right in that fucking pool, man. And I had to drag that quad out by myself because there's nobody with me. And I'm just like, just yanking on this quad, man, trying to get it out. And it was hilarious. I had to pull spark plug out, and it didn't swallow a ton of water because I had the air filter on it. But it swallowed enough that it didn't want to run. But
well, I will say I don't ever remember a time that I played around like that by myself.
Yeah, I was just out having some fun. I was just out riding, having some fun. So
now I've went out when it was iced over and shit before. I've went out by myself because if you've got a 4x4 winch, again, all the stuff, or winches, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pulling people out of ditches. So anytime it would freeze over back in the day, I would get the toy out, and I had a Nissan. I had an 89 Nissan hardbody, all jacked up. And so that thing being so lightweight, oh my God, you could do so much with it. And I would just tie off and winch people out. Most of the time I didn't pull people out, right? It's amazing what you can do with winches and snatch blocks. And so I would go out, and I would get up and, 6 o'clock in the morning and just drive back and forth on, the main roads into town and pull people out of ditches, man, like for several hours. And I never charged them anything, but every single person would give me a 20 or give me this or give me that. So a few hours, I'd come home with several $100, It was nice. And most of the time I didn't have to work that day. which was great because like it iced over, and they're like, hey, it's iced over, ain't nobody gonna come in, blah blah blah, just stay home. So why not? I made more money pulling people out of ditches, than I would if I'd have went to work anyway.
Yeah, I never charged anybody, but I remember I was in.
Yeah, I never did, but I don't ever remember a time that I pulled anybody out that they didn't pay me something.
Yeah,
and I took it.
Right. Well, and so I remember when I was probably probably 24, 25. I had a Mitsubishi Montero, it's a little two-door four-wheel drive vehicle, tough as hell, and is my favorite. It's one of my favorite vehicles I've owned that I do not currently own. And I remember I was in Tahoe, and it was snowing. I'm in four-wheel drive. I have no problems getting anywhere, and I'm following this car, and they kind of went around this corner, and I'd already slowed down because I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go, whether I was going to turn or go. And then I started again, and by the time that short period of time I paused, they had come around the corner, slid off into a ditch, and I mean they were in that ditch, like deep. And as I came around the corner, I was going a little too fast because I was a little distracted, thinking about whether I was going to go to my house or whether I was going to go to a friend's house who was closer and just hang out with him the rest of the night, so I didn't have to go the rest of the way up the mountain. And I spun out right in front. I actually thought I was going to hit this car, but I didn't. I was not even close, really. But when you're spinning in the snow, yeah, you don't know. And I drove over to the car that was stuck because I was trying to evaluate how stuck they were, and I rolled down the window and they rolled down theirs, and I'm like, "Hey, are you stuck?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're really stuck." And so the guy got out and he went and looked at it, and he has nothing with him. It's a rental car. There's nothing with him. And I'm like, "Well, I've got straps. If you want me to, I'll pull you out." Since you saw me spin out, and it was kind of embarrassing. And like, yeah, okay, absolutely. So I pulled him out, and he tried to give me like, I don't know, $50 or something. I'm like, that's too much. Just, whatever you can afford. So I think he dropped it down like 20, 25, but the super nice guy. And it worked out for everybody concerned, and was able to get the vehicle out of the ditch without it. I don't know if it damaged it or not. It was dark, but without a ton of damage anyway. Yeah. And I've done that before. The biggest thing I've towed lately are boats. I will be out on the lake, and there will be a broken down boat or a boat that, I was out with my son one day, and there's a boat that would start, they get it running, and then it would just fall off, and the motor would stall. So I motored over to them and said, "Hey, do you need help?" And they're like, "Not really." And I'm like, "Well, I'll give you a tow." So I towed them back, and let them, back to where they needed to be. And then my son and I went back to fishing. And then I had another time I had gotten home, and I had obviously the boat's hooked up and everything. And I gotten home, I sat down, I get on the internet, I look on the local fishing group to see where everybody was catching them, because I sure as hell wasn't catching them. And there's this guy, and he says, "Hey, look, we're stuck out here. Can anybody come get us?" The towboat, the U.S. towboat or whatever, the recovery guys are, they're busy on the other side of the lake. It'll be hours before they get done, so they can't come get us. And I waited like 10 or 15 minutes, and nobody answered this guy. So I'm like, "Hey, call me. Let me know what's up." I gave him a number. He calls me, says, "Hey, yeah, we're out here on the lake." I'm like, are you where you at? "Well, we're anchored here, and we're safe. Everything's cool, but we need the motor won't run. We need to get back to the dock." I'm like, nobody's like reached out to you or anything? Like, "No, we've been out here for like 2 hours." I'm like, all right, that sucks. I'm 20 minutes from my driveway to the first ramp I can get to, and I'm like 30 minutes to the second ramp I can get to. So I told him, I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to go. I'll be there in a few minutes. Just chill out." Put the boat back in, drove over, put the boat in the water, drove over, got them but they didn't. The rope that they had was horrible, and the rope that I had with me was the wrong rope. I didn't have the right tow rope, so we ended up breaking the rope like 3 times getting back.
Right.
But it was pretty good, and that guy would not quit. Because I was like, dude, you don't owe me anything, man. You were stuck out here. You know, it sucks. It's, you know, especially when people aren't, you know, people just driving right by you, not even asking if you need help or anything. And he's like, yeah, no, that's fine. He's like, how much? And I'm like, nothing, man. You don't owe me anything. He's like, he pulled off a crisp hundo and just palmed it and put it and shook my hand with that crisp hundo. And he was like, I really appreciate it. Like, you really saved me on this one. I'm like, all right. I loaded my boat up and went home.
Yeah. Situations like that, I don't mind taking, you know, and I've done things where I've helped people. I've got a lockout kit, and I'm constantly helping people, you know, that have locked their key. You know, with modern vehicles, it's more sparse that happens.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm still pretty regularly, I'd say once a month, I'm helping somebody get keys out, you know, out of, or get their stuff unlocked. And you know, I never say you owe me when they ask or whatever, but most people, you know, offer, you know, and insist. And, you know, if you go that route, I'm going to take it.
Right.
Because I would do the same thing. Let's be, you know, just, I mean, to be fair, you know, if I needed somebody to tow me, or if I need somebody to, you know, unlock my vehicle, I would offer them something once they did it. You know, I would want them, you know, I would want to compensate them for their time and whatever too. So I figure that's okay if it's consistent, right?
Yeah. What's the next thing for you, man? What's the next gathering?
Goals. 9th and so August the 7th is range day, the 8th is media day, and then 9th and 10th is the public show.
Cool. That's the one that's local to me, right? That's in
Knoxville, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so for everybody out there listening, go to GOA, Gun Owners of America, look up goals. I don't remember what that stands for. Gun Owners something leadership, Gun Owners of America Leadership Summit, maybe.
Okay.
But anyway, gonna be a good time, man. Last year was the first year, and it was a good show, so I have no doubt that they're going to improve on that even. And the mayor of Knoxville is typically there, so if you're a wrestling fan or a wrestling fan, you get to meet Kane, most likely. He'll be walking around. So,
yeah,
always fun.
I'll probably try and make it this year. I think it looks like I'm going to have some time. I don't have to go anywhere, but I think my wife does. So that'll be, we'll see.
Yeah.
My wife, even though we're in the middle of buying all these businesses, my wife just accepted an offer. She got an offer from this company that they do school. They're a company. They're putting together like school software, Canvas and that sort of thing. And so, and they're buying other education technologies. And that's what she's doing is she's going to do the deals to buy those technologies.
Yeah.
And then they're probably going to sell the company in a couple of years.
Well, my wife usually goes with me when we make these trips, but we had to have a conversation the other day because she gets a ton of time. She works for the state. And as far as time, man, that's if you're looking for time and retirement and other types of benefits, wow. But it's gotten to the point we've added so many shows. When we first started, it wasn't that bad, but we do so many shows. I mean, we're at a show every other month or something, it seems like, at the you know, that type of a rate or something. And you know, you get 3-4 days. I mean, Vegas is SHOT Show's a week long trip, you know. This one at Goals is 4 days. So you've got a day getting there, 4 days, and a day back. You got 6 days, nearly a fucking week, right? And so she was talking about, like, you know, we've added so many shows that it's burning so much of her time that it can be problematic if she gets sick, right? Like extended sick, more than like a day or just, you know, that sort of thing. And so unfortunately, I think probably in TriggerCon, which is in October, she probably won't make that journey, which sucks a little bit, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you know what I should do is I should have you give me a list of all of the cool things to go to, and then go do media stuff, hang out.
Pretty easy to do. SHOT Shows in January, NRA's in April. You know,
I'm like 90% sure I'm going to do SHOT. I think what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to do SHOT Show. I need to get my media credentials done up. I should reach out to them now. I've been before, but I was with Thunder Beast.
Yeah, it's different going as media. So
yeah. So I need to get my media stuff, and I'll get you to help me with that. I'll get my media stuff sorted out, and then I'm going to do. I'm going to go do SHOT Show, and then I'm going to try and do whatever in L.A. And then I may try and do
that'd be a nice one too, maybe.
And then it may be something else while I'm out in that area when they're they're what, 4 hours apart, 3 hours apart.
Yeah, it's not far. Yeah, I mean, Texas person talking here. Yeah, that's not far.
Right, yeah. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, your idea of far and my idea of far are vastly different, because I've been across the country a few times, and I know what far is.
Yeah, like 4 hours. That's easy, man.
Yeah. What do you think of the Epstein deal? As I covered it earlier, did you hear my coverage of it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. What do you think?
At this point, I don't know that I fucking care, dude.
I'm in that boat. I'm more interested in what are they trying to distract.
I think they tried it out as a diversion or whatever. Hey, look at the right hand. Look at the right hand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're never going to release that. I mean, look at the JFK files they were supposed to release, and they didn't do any of that crap. Like, they're not ever gonna release any of that crap, because that's clout. That's things they can use to to do sleight of hand, and they're never gonna give up that shit. You're never gonna find anybody that does it. Yeah, and it might even be a JFK thing, where if you ever do get anybody that gets close enough to wanting to do it, something unfortunately happens to them. So. They get Epstein, so to speak.
Right. No, that's true. And but that's always been that way, right? Like, I don't know if people realize this, but throughout history, this is how it happens. If you have dirt on the leader, or if a faction believes that there needs to be a change in leadership,
well, the Democrats are really big on not having foresight. And I do believe that if Trump was involved in any nefarious bad way, at this point, that would have done come out.
Yeah.
Like, they would have done that, even if it would have burnt a few of their people, whatever. I think they would have used it. They were that foaming at the mouth. I don't think they're quite that bad currently, but they were at that point. They were really bad, foaming at the mouth, to the point I think they would have done it. Somebody would have leaked. Somebody would have done something. It's always the plausible deniability, right? Mm-hmm. Where some aide or somebody somewhere that's unknown, who knows? We don't know who leaked it, right? But it's out there now, and something would have come out.
Yeah,
or at least been alleged, right? I don't even remember anything being alleged.
Yeah, but I agree with all of that. But it's like the entire world history has, in all of the world's history has this aspect of it, where somebody knows something that's inconvenient for a leader, or they want a leadership change. Genghis Khan's dad, I don't remember his name, was murdered, right? Like, that's, and they killed all of his family at the same time, except for Genghis and like his sister or whatever, right? And so,
well, he made up for it. He kept the.
He fucked them up. When he absolutely basically conquered the entire known world.
I don't remember the numbers, but the people that have lineage back to Genghis Khan is pretty insane.
It is insane, right? Like, he's like, "You're all mine,"
right?
Right?
Yeah.
And so. but that's the way history. I mean, it's interesting that and I hate to use the word in modernity, but we've lost a step, Clovertac. We refuse to look at history, and therefore we are consistently doomed to repeat it. And we're just the creatures of habit that we are.
Well, it's taboo to look at history because the nefarious powers that be demonize that history to the point that if you look at it, you're a racist. If you look at it, you're a bigot. If you look at it, you're a homophobe. If you look at it, you're a Nazi. Right? Whatever.
Right.
Insert the derogatory term, right, of your choosing. But that's what it is. They twist the history and then and make it taboo where you're not supposed to be even looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong at all. Like I think that's a really good summary. But I wonder if I can call in over at Rob's. Oh, I can. Stand by. Get set up here. What's up, dude? I'm good. I'm in the middle of my show, and I've been talking about the Epstein thing today. I talked about the DOE, the Department of Education, and their nonsense. They failed another audit. Still missing, a lot of money. So billions, actually. They have an $843.8 billion budget. Right?
And at a place like the Department of Education, it's even worse, right? Because we're told that it's just like, not only is it uniquely bad, but we're told that this money's like for some moral imperative. Send more money.
We can't tell you what we did, what we spent it on.
We don't know. We don't know what we spent it on. Meanwhile, people like Randy Weirgarten, at the largest teachers union there, what's her salary? Something like $600,000 a year, as they piss and moan that not enough money's being spent on kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's surreal. It really is. As far as the Epstein stuff, I know you've heard me talk about this, but yeah,
I've heard you. I don't know that you've heard my viewpoint.
No, go for
it. So my viewpoint is that I care less about Epstein right now or any of the documents being released or anything like that than what I'm being distracted from.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that I have serious questions about why everybody's so unhappy with Trump, other than it was a campaign promise, for not letting the information out. And yet Biden had all of the information for 4 years. He basically buried it. There was he is not directly responsible, but he was a factor in the court order sealing the documents that even Trump can't break. Trump can't break the court order. He has to go through the Supreme Court to break the court order to release the documents, which will never happen because the Supreme Court will never do it in a timely enough manner that Trump could get that done. Right.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I don't disagree, right? But it's not just what has happened; it's how it's happened.
Oh yeah.
Right?
No, definitely the optics are horrible. Like, it's just absolutely, and it's like I said, I don't understand why Trump made this part of his campaign promise, not knowing, right? Like, not really understanding, like where are the terabytes of video?
Yeah, I mean, Trump could have easily came out and said, "Look, I'd be happy to release this shit, but it's being tied up in court." And to be honest, there's certain shit that you don't want to see. Like, we're going to protect the victims. You're never going to see any shit like that. When it comes to people's names, listen, I think we have to be careful. Any name that might be on there doesn't mean that they've committed crimes.
Sure.
But yeah, we're doing our best. This shit's tied up in court. And we strongly suspect that a lot of more incriminating shit's probably still being hidden or has been destroyed. So we're doing our best to research that. But I did run on this, and it is indicative of the things we're talking about, of people in positions of power that are engaged in corrupt activities and cover-ups that occur from that. And so, yes, we understand why our base is very, but that's it. That's all they had to say. Instead, it was Pam Bondi saying, the list is on my desk. her like a fucking joke, giving it to the influencers and those binders. Phase 1, that was a fucking joke. Then telling us, trust me, bro, this shit's being hidden, but it's going to be a bombshell when it gets released. Then telling us, oh, my mistake, there is nothing more. There was no client list. And then you have people like Cash Patel and Dan Bongino that basically, before they were in the position they were in, were saying, this is clearly a fucking cover-up, right? And they're doing their shows every day, going on every platform they can, saying, clearly an FBI cover-up. And now that they're there, they're like, hey, we just expect you to trust us that there's no cover-up. Trust us. Then at least can you explain to us why you were wrong? Like, would it crush Patel and Bongino to do, like, even if they do a press conference together and be like, look, we were wrong. We said that there was this grand conspiracy. We had reason to distrust these institutions under Biden because we saw the other corrupt shit they were. But unfortunately, in this case, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, turns out, to the best of our ability and our research, from what we're seeing, the story that the public's been told is basically it. That's it. There is no some dark, deeper connection, and we're going to keep looking, and we're going to keep going after sort of corruption that we see, and who knows, when we lift more rocks when it comes to the Russiagate investigation, when we lift more rocks when it comes to other corrupt FBI shit that we're going to continue to look in, maybe we start to find stuff.
Yeah.
When we put people under oath and we subpoena them, and we ask them, did you move any of these files? Did you damage any of these files? Maybe we'll get some different answers. But that's not how they're handling it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that, because the only thing that really kind of sticks with me is that the people who were calling it a conspiracy theory, a conspiracy to begin with, now are in positions to at least start the investigation, or at least be able to document, hey, okay, all of these files no longer exist, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe they did at one point in time, but we have looked and they just don't exist. And that's it. That's the end of it. I'm sorry. I thought we had something. We don't have something. All right. I mean, I could understand that. Right. And I'm waiting to hear some of that. I don't think we're going to. I don't think we're going to hear that. I don't think we're going to see it.
It's so frustrating. It really is. By the way, Grid, in my chat, can you link your channel? For some reason, I could never find it. I think there's other people named Grid Motorsports, and I think.
No. You're looking for An Unreasonable Man.
Okay, I know that I've subscribed before, but I'm constantly looking for you, and I go to Grid Motorsports, and I don't know if that's your channel or not, but it's literally just people with car stuff that they're putting up. Is that your channel as well?
Probably. Well, I have one that I have one that is Grid One, but I don't use it for anything.
Okay. Well, that's the one I'm always looking at. So, An Unreasonable Man. Let me make sure that I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed. But let's see.
Yeah.
But I did already tell Jay Dyer that I was going to raid him, or I would have raided you, but I didn't. There we go. Yeah. It didn't have me subscribed. I don't know why. So we'll make sure that we get you more raids in the future. But we will put your link in the in there. And if people would rather go watch Grid than Jay Dyer, by all means, you're going to be live streaming for a while.
I'm about another hour. I've got a debate that I'm kind of. I did my first hour and a half kind of on on those three subjects, the Epstein files, the flood, and how why is the press constantly telling us that 200 people have died in the flood when only 22 have?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the misinformation that's coming out about
it. I mean, it's miscategorization and it's misleading information. And it's specifically, in my opinion, it's engineered by the media and the agencies to when they go to funnel more money to FEMA, more money to from the Fed to the state for various things. I think that's why. I
agree, right? Mm-hmm. But like, to me, I haven't talked about this story a lot. Nothing sums it up more than the outrage that Democrats now have that Trump screwed up through defunding FEMA, et cetera, versus their disinterest in the story when we literally had officials at FEMA testifying that they were intentionally not going into Trump homes. Right, in what state was it when they had that, the terrible situation there? North Carolina. They intentionally skipped over Trump's homes. Now, the disparity in the outrage that people have. Imagine that came out. Imagine that a story broke that like Trump's DOJ's there, and it's like, there were victims of the floods, but we noticed at their property they had anti-Trump slogans up. So fuck them, we skipped them. We thought that they wouldn't like us, so it would be the biggest story in the country right now. When it happened under Democrats, it was ho-hum. Well, I guess that one person was bad. Tisk, tisk, tisk. And now we're back to, FEMA, Trump, defunding, blah, blah, blah. So,
Yeah. No, I think that's a real thing. And I think that they're really unhappy with the defunding that's happened. And I think that the picture of how people look at FEMA and CNN and MSNBC are both just 24/7. Like, they're literally listing people who are dying in hospitals of old age and in retirement homes as flood victims.
See, I don't know. I can't speak to that, so I don't know. But
well, I was just reading a report on it.
It's what they did in the pandemic.
It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same tactic.
You were in a car wreck. Oh, but as you were dying on the bed, you did test positive for COVID. So we're going to put that down as a COVID.
Right. Yeah. No, it's exactly what's happening, and it's all about. To me, it's all about distracting the public from the bombings that we're preparing for and the other war. That we're preparing for. So they're distracting the public from that. And they're laying the groundwork for all of these FEMA increases, all of these other government expenditures and oversight. Trump came out today and said that as far as he's concerned, the initial response lies with the state, and the states have to take care of it. And the federal government will step in only as needed. And that has sent literally like a rocket through all of Washington, because they're the whole federal government, they want to be in charge of this. They want to be able to justify spending all of this money in these areas, and the only way they can do it is if they have access to these natural tragedies, right? And so I think I can't believe that Trump actually has come down and said that, and said that they're with they're not. They'll give money as needed, but it's on the states first, and which is as it should be, right?
Right.
I've got a debate to prepare for tonight. It's non-traditional relationships. It's me. It's a panel debate. It's me and Pentuple as the two conservatives. I'm assuming we have Enemy Charlie as a communist. We have Fabian Liberty for our libertarian. And we've got two leftists, and that is Kinetic Kell and Katusha, Premier Katya. So it's a bunch of got some B players in there with some heavy hitters, and it's gonna be really interesting. It's gonna be really interesting.
All right. Well, yeah. What time's that start?
The polykill talk. That's just gonna be great.
What time's that start?
7:30. I'm going to fire up my show about 7,
Okay.
Pre-game.
But everyone will be able to watch it at your channel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I got to get running, but it was nice talking to you. Hopefully we'll be able to talk soon. Good luck with your debate tonight.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks so much, man.
Right.
We'll see you.
Thanks so much. Yep. So I will be right.
There we go. All right, guys. So that was fun. That was good, right? It's good. Catch up with my man Rob. Hey, Michelle, good to see you in the chat. That's awesome. So yeah. But yeah, man, it's a good time. It's a good time. Whew, man, what a day. So we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this whole deal with the non-traditional relationship, debate tonight. My guess is this is what I've prepared. I'm gonna go ahead and, if my opposition is watching. Sorry, guys. Yep, polykill. Oh, that's awesome. Doomerang wins the internet today. Polycule or polykill. Polykill. That's what's up. Michelle, by the way, is in a polycule. Michelle is a Michelle is has been in a polycule, I guess, poly relationship of some kind for some time now. She has repeatedly said that she really doesn't recommend it. That it's not something that is for normal people. And so that's interesting. Michelle, if you'd like to come up and talk about it, that'd be great. If not, that's fine. I know that you're probably really tired, and I know that you're not really 100% well. So yeah, and we're gonna have a great time with this debate. Now, this is I don't really want to tip my hand too badly, but here's where I'm at in my my research, or not research, but my prep, right? So we're going to be dealing with, obviously, poly, and you guys can help me out if I've missed one, right? So we're going to be talking about polyamory, open relationships where you just bang whoever you want, but you're still together, some shit like that. Some weirdness. We're going to be. I'm certain that somebody's going to bring up, obviously, same-sex partnerships, marriages, relationships, whatever. Situationships. No, that obviously, to me, that's more like an open relationship. You're just trying to dress it up a little bit with some fancy wording. Hookup culture, obviously, is what leads to a lot of this stuff. And then blended households. So the blended household is going to be interesting. That's kind of where I've gotten so far. James Dumas says, because monogamy allows for stability in society, too many men being disenfranchised is never good. Wake me in polygamy. It's only okay on small scales. Mass scale, it would destroy society. I can actually agree with that. I think Michelle would probably agree with that as well. So I don't know, Duck. You're odd. I mean, you don't eat meat, so I have a hard time, like talking to you about that. But so those are kind of what we're doing. We're going to define a relation. So I'm going to have them define a relationship, because I don't necessarily. So I don't believe in these situationship sort of deals. I would say that, or I think they're the same as having an open relationship, because it's roughly the same level of commitment. You just maybe in an open relationship you take it as a little more seriously, but anyway. So I think I've got statistics on my side. Obviously, most, if not all, poly relationships end badly. I mean, in like really badly, and especially if you're talking about when there are two women involved, that seems to be kind of a trigger. I think there's some morality issues. I'm going to get into those. So obviously, in my opinion, the red pill has fed into a lot of this because of they're reported, or not reported. That's not the right word. Because of their dependence on easy access to sex to make them the red pill talking points meaningful. That opens you up to things like polygamy, polyamory, all that sort of thing. And it's when you've turned women into a commodity like OnlyFans has, which is a very interesting point of view. In the way feminism is rejecting a lot of tradition so that they can. You're right. Red pill is garbage. What we can talk. I'd love to talk to you about that, Abe. I have a very specific viewpoint on that. But we basically between the people on the red pill who are supposedly anti-feminist, but are truly feminist, and the feminists themselves, they've disenfranchised the American. The average American on both sides from wanting a traditional relationship. You can agree the red pill creators are the ones spouting out stuff that's not conducive to stable. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Andrew does a really good job of talking about and engaging in a meaningful way with people who do not don't understand or don't really get to. Maybe haven't experienced a good traditional relationship, and I do believe that most red pill tenets are actually harmful to actual, good healthy relationships. And I guess one of my key points, I think I'm just going to hammer this point out a lot, is that if these non-traditional things worked, why is it that the Gen Z, Gen Y, all of these people, why are they, from millennial forward, and when all of this stuff kind of started happening, why are they the least happy, the loneliest, most medicated, most sexually frustrated, dysfunctional, whatever you want to say? Why are they that generation? Why do they have all of that in the generation? Satoshi 444, my title is spelled wrong. I don't think it is. Looks right to me. You blame the internet, Doomerang? I mean, it's easy to do that. It's easy to just blame the internet, but the problem is the internet is a thing, and people are people, and people are the only things we can really blame. Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely unreasonable. All right. Oh, it did misspell it. Oh, how about that? We can edit that. Let me go fix that. Let me go do that right now. Right meow. Thank you. I appreciate that. Base Tweaker says a range of choice, being able to find people online rather than yeah, that's true. I think that does hurt things, in a way, for sure. I do. So I do believe that. What about e-girls? What about e-girls? Duck, you need to form complete, coherent thoughts. What about e-girls? What about them? I don't actually know that much about e-girls, but I'm sure that they bear some blame as well. John's opinion, Andrew Wilson is a great male role model. He's like Andrew Tate without the problematic alleged well, Andrew's nothing like Andrew Tate. Or yeah, Andrew Wilson is nothing like Andrew Tate. I mean, that's pretty funny, but It's nothing like it. The interesting thing to me is that I guess maybe people think that, but no, that's not true. All right, done deal. Oh, okay, yeah. Andrew Wilson's pretty solid dude when it comes to relationship ish stuff. I think that he's What's interesting to me is that people come at Andrew because he is he has what would in a lot of ways be considered a non-traditional family, because obviously his wife had children when they got married, and now they have children together as well. I would say that I don't really have an opinion on it myself, but if I were to guess, I would think that Andrew would say that yes, it's absolutely it's not optimal, but it's what worked for him, and he's super happy in his marriage, and we should all be happy for him being in that relationship. Now, the interesting thing is that one of the things that you get a lot. One of the things you get a lot is this idea that I don't want someone in a where I as a conservative, why would I not want a why would I not want a person in a polyamorous relationship? Why would I not wish them success in that relationship? The problem is that it's hard for me to see something that is so fundamentally flawed and so unreasonably structured. It's hard to see where the success is. So it's hard to say, I wish you all the success, right? Based tweaker, if you want, I'll throw you a link. Let me find my find that specific thing. Are you in Discord, based tweaker? We only have a few minutes. I'm only going to let. I guess anybody can click the link. But are you in my Discord, based tweaker? Oh, you're on break, or you would. That's cool, dude. Never mind. No worries. What is one axiom? I'm probably just not understanding, because everything's so broken up and it's hard to follow, Duck. Yeah. All right. So that's going to be part of the debate tonight. Since I'm going to be on later, I'm going to end the show a little earlier. I don't know. I don't have anyone really to redirect to. But in a few minutes, I'm gonna end the show a little bit early, because I do have to prep for tonight's thing. Does anybody have any actual insights from a leftist or whatever point of view as to these things, all of these non-traditional relationships, polyamory, all of this? Does anybody want to come up for a few minutes and just to discuss those? If so, great. I'll throw you a link. Everything will be great. But it's but I would just really help if I had the Michelle, you don't want to come up? You people are brain dead. I love how the internal critique of the internal interjects. I don't, whatever. So somebody wants to come up and talk about these types of relationships and give me some input. You know, maybe something I'm not considering. I would really, really appreciate it. But you don't have to. It's all good. I see. You were Duck was talking the base tweak. A red pill is a counterforce to e-girls and degenerate behavior. Not really, but I mean, it can be seen that way for sure, for sure. Non-traditional relationships. First, we have to define what is a traditional relationship. That's going to be tough. Yes, I saw that base tweaker. Yeah. I think using red pill is problematic, but certainly you could have used a traditional or something like that. Prime has an interracial daughter. Okay. I have 2 interracial sons. So my wife is Chinese. So you're welcome to come up too, Prime, if you're in the Discord. Polish black man. I got pro black. That's funny. That's funny. That's pretty hilarious, actually. Prime. That you got me. You got me, bro. Duck, you're like the most bigoted person I know. Why are you complaining about bigoted people? You're like probably the most bigoted person I know. Yeah, I think you are. I think Duck probably got some real red meat for a change. Gotcha. Wait, what? Whoa. Michelle. Are you I know you're not okay, but are you This is a conversation I'd like to have, but I'm sure that Michelle, I'm sure you don't want to come up on stage right now, but that's a conversation I'd really like to have. I've wondered, Michelle, and maybe you can provide some insight into it. I'm interested, Michelle, in your opinion on if how much external factors such as health issues, nutrition, the introduction of various substances may be contributing to this situation that we're in. What's up, Nate? Nate, unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, I'm just kind of wrapping up a little bit here. I've been going for a little while, but I've got a debate tonight at 7:30, and I'm probably just going to have to. We can make a show out of it. Absolutely, Michelle. When you feel up to it, you let me know. We'll do it. But Nate, we've been kind of going. I'm going to end probably a little bit earlier. And so I've got a debate tonight, panel debate on it's on Admiral Gibbs's Gibbs Me a Break show. It's going to be me. It's going to be we're going to be starring Fabian Liberty as the ANCAP libertarian. We will have Enemy Charlie as the communist. We will have Premier Katya as a leftist, teamed with Kinetic Kel as the leftist. We'll have Pentuple as a conservative Republican white guy. And following that, we've got me as the constitutional conservative white guy that's been married for a long time. So it's 3 females and 3 males. And Fabian's been married and divorced. I don't think Charlie has been married. I think she's got a boyfriend. Maybe. I don't know. Kinetic Kel, we learned yesterday, is in a polycule. We've got I'm not really sure. I think Pentuple is I think he's dating. I don't think he may be in a relationship. Not really sure. Not really sure on Premier Katya. And obviously yeah, I'm not really sure about the rest. So that's what it is. And it's going to be a great debate, I think. And it's a panel debate, so it's probably not even going to be a real debate. Yes, James, you're correct. Andrew Wilson has virtue and morality. Andrew Tate, honestly, doesn't really have a lot of anything really. I never really liked that, but so not Chuck again. I know. So I really trigger Enemy Charlie. So not as bad as Nina. I was really hoping it would be Nina because she gets drunk and I trigger her, and I've gotten so close to a rage quit, but she's just too drunk to quit. So maybe next time. Yeah, Bastions. Yeah, gotcha. So Nate, it has been a good show though. You really enjoy it. So I do think that Duck has gotten into some wacky weed. So yeah, I'm not really sure who he's talking to or what he's talking about. So I don't know. Was kind of hoping Lily would jump on the stream from last night. I was hoping she would jump on, and she wants to talk about the debate subjects. That'll be fine. But I don't see her jumping on. So you know what, Nate? Totally cool, man. You can just play it right back. It'll be other than I'll be deleting the first few minutes. Other than that, it'll be right back up. So lead paint and soy. It's a powerful combination. That's funny. The Raging Patriot 1776 minces no words. None. All the words. He doesn't mince them. Does not mince them. Am I missing? Oh, I got it. Anybody have anything else on this subject of the non-traditional relationships? Anybody got anything? Nothing? All right. Well, you looking forward to the Friday night debate show? Me too. It's going to be great. We're going to have, I think Kinetic Kel's going to make it. She'll be a little late, but she'll make it. We should have Lily on. She was great last night. She's got some very interesting positions. We have a bunch of dudes showing up. That's going to be awesome. And hopefully, we can have a really great show. Now, the one thing, guys, that I should mention is that tomorrow, my wife and I are probably going to go to the lake house for the weekend, taking our sons with us. So it might be that I end up streaming the show from the lake house, so I won't have my whole big computer set up here. I'll be back on a laptop. I have good internet there, and but it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. Be a different background. Obviously, I won't have all of this cool stuff, and we'll be so it'll be a unique Friday night show, and the Saturday night show will be the same. So it's going to be very interesting. Yeah, I'm really trying. Yeah, guys, listen, it means a lot to me if you share the stream, if you send it to your buddies, if any, on Discord or wherever you can talk about it. If you promote the stream, especially, things like the debate show, things like, the Wednesday night and Saturday night shows, and we can, it just helps build the channel, helps build, the way things ought to be, and the way things look. It's going to be good. And yeah, man, I'm really excited about the debate show. I'm really excited about the rest of the week. Next week's going to be just killer. So a lot of stuff going on. So, but yeah, man, it's gonna be really good. So nobody has anything else on the nobody has anything on the non-standard or non-traditional relationships. I'm sorry, I drew a blank there for a minute. I'm like really interested in this too. Like I really want to understand it. I really want to know. You'll be watching Andrew Wilson debates all day long. So DebateCon's going to be here in Nashville. So if you come to DebateCon, and you should buy your tickets early, if you come to DebateCon, I'm going to have some sort of side event during DebateCon. I saw, yeah, he's doing a lot tomorrow. Like he's doing like a whole big deal. If you come to DebateCon, make it a, if you decide to come and you're part of the show or whatever, and you want to meet me, you want to hang out, want to, talk shit or whatever, we'll set up an event. We'll set up a live event here in the Nashville area, and it'll be a really great time. So, but you're gonna have to come to DebateCon, or we may do our own little event as well. But initially, I think we're just gonna hang out with the DebateCon guys. So it'd be cool. Why do they call it a partnerships versus boyfriend and girlfriend these days? I don't know. I think because they don't like the way that the boyfriend girlfriend sounds too committal. It sounds too committal. So we're gonna have fun tonight. All right, guys. I've got to go get some things done so I can come back and finish prepping for tonight's debate. I got a lot of material to cover. I will be firing up early. I'm not really sure how early, but I have a hard out at 9 p.m. tonight. At 9 p.m., the lights go off. I close the door. I'm out. I go pick my son up. My son's coming back from Philmont. He completed a 70-mile hike. 10 days, 70 miles. He just completed it. Philmont, New Mexico went from, like 1,000 feet above sea level at the base to 12,000 feet. They hiked up to 12,000 feet over 10 days. I mean, it wasn't all at once, it was but is over a number of days. So he gets back tonight. So I'll be picking him up at the airport, and I can't wait to see him. And you know, pat him on the back for a job well done, and you know, it's going to be awesome. So look for this stuff, guys. It's going to be awesome. Really enjoy it. As always, you know, especially for the debate show, tell a buddy and bring a friend. It's going to be a great time. In the meantime, guys, I got to get out of here. I'm kind of over. I'm kind of over time. I mean, my normal time is 3 o'clock. I should be getting out of here in another hour. However, I got to get some things done, and I have to do that now. If you could, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all of the things. Do all of the things, and make sure you share the stream. As always, be cool. Wear glasses if you need them, and get off my lawn. You guys have a great day.